that you can hear me. Oh, oh, struggling with my, let's see if my audio is working. And, oh, I hate this blue light on my specs all the time. Right, let's have a look. Let's see, just going to check on the old settings. Okay, there we are. Okay, hi, hello, Vicky Blades, your video coach here. We're live in the Camera Confidence Club, and today I'm going to talk all about visibility for Top Tips Tuesday. First up, if you're with me live, please say hello, and do let me know if you can hear me. That's really important. And quick hello, quick emoji, give me a wave, just let me know that you're here, and let me know that you can hear me. That's really important. Oh, hey Faye. Oh, lovely to see you. Gosh, what's the weather like where you are? I hear it's a bit cold and miserable. To be expected. Oh, hey Anita. Nice to see you. I'm not sure where you are. Are you in Sweden or somewhere like that? Wondering what the weather is like with you as well. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? That's the main thing. Can you just drop me a yes in the comments if you can hear me? Sorry, I'm just quickly pouring a cup of coffee. I think there's a slight delay on the comments. Oh, you're in Norway. Hey for day. Great. Well, I'm assuming from that you can hear me anyway, so that's all good. Lovely, beautiful Norway. Which part of Norway? I'd love to know. I've been to some parts of Norway, but there's many places I'd like to go. Nice weather today. Good. Glad to hear it. Well, we finally have some sunshine. And it's sunny in Belfast. Hello. Hallelujah. Isn't that great? How unusual. Oh, we miss sunny Belfast. We really do. Okay, so I do have sunshine here too, actually. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about visibility today. Today might be a bit longer than my usual 15 minutes. I've got a lot to say. And I think this might be part of the series as well. So I may not get to everything I want to cover today. But don't worry, I'm going to carry on next week. What I want you to know about Tuesday Top Tips. You're already in the group, so hopefully you know that there is a lot of Tuesday Top Tips training. There's 3 ways you can find out all the Top Tips training. You can go to the guides. They're all in there. You can go to the search bar and put hashtag Top Tips Tuesday and they will all come up. And you can go to my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm going to post the link below. It's just for the Top Tips Tuesday training. So that's 3 super simple ways to find out or to find all of the Top Tips training. Okay, I'm experiencing connection issues and I can only apologise if that's affecting the picture or the audio. I'm going to forge ahead anyway. I need some coffee. Okay, I've been getting really passionate about visibility and about women being visible and delving a lot into the reasons why we don't feel safe being visible, and there are a lot of reasons. But first up, let's talk about visibility. So quite literally, it's about being seen, right? So for example, me being here on this screen, I'm perfectly visible and you can see me. That's it, period. Hello. But I think it's a lot more than that. And I think one of the reasons that we're so resistant and so fearful of visibility is that it feels like a high stakes game. Visibility for me is actually expressing yourself. And by that I mean being brave enough to express your feelings, your desires, your hopes, your fears, your dreams, and being able to state what you need. And that's actually actually something that I think the majority of women have a lot of trouble with. Are you, for example, one of those women who puts everybody else first? Yeah, I am. I don't know why, I guess it's my upbringing, but certainly when it comes to my family, it's all about the kids, it's all about my husband, it's all about the house. It's about the dog before it's about me. And that's a great way to stay invisible, isn't it? You know, not stating your desires, not putting yourself first, not, I guess, creating boundaries. So some of the examples I've got here is that when you are visible, you are stating your case, whatever it may be, and you feel seen. You feel seen in the big picture sense of the word, as in you feel understood, you feel believed. And I think that's really important. And circumstances where you may practice your visibility or you may feel invisible are really simple everyday situations like dismissed, or someone's going to kind of talk over you, or classic, grab your idea and then kind of pretend it was their own. All of that happens all the time. And that's what I mean by being visible, being brave enough to stand up and say, no, I have got something to contribute here actually. I've got something to say and I've got a need that needs to be met. So maybe it's speaking up in meetings. Maybe it's having awkward conversations with friends and family. Maybe someone you know does something really annoying all the time, talks about a particular topic you have no interest in, or badmouth somebody that you actually quite like, and you go along with it and you put up with it, but you hate it. It niggles you, and yet you don't say anything. Being visible is stepping up and saying, actually, I don't want to hear that, or I don't feel comfortable talking about that, or, you know, I really don't want to cover that topic again. So, speaking up, speaking out, speaking your needs, that's being visible. Speaking out against injustice. Speaking out when you witness injustice, when you experience injustice. So, speaking up on behalf of somebody else who perhaps has been badly treated or in some way insulted or whatever it may be. I mean, there's a million examples of witnessing injustice in this world. And it could be large or small. I mean, maybe your version of being visible is to go and protest and go out on the streets and hold placards. And hallelujah, bravo to you. Or perhaps your version of being visible is saying something at work when, you know, that poor person gets picked on again, or when the banter gets too much. Maybe that's your version of being visible, stepping into the spotlight. Sticking up for yourself, of course, which I've kind of mentioned already, but creating boundaries around what you want, what you need, what you desire, about being not just seen, but also understood, about being believed. I think that's so, so important. Visibility is also about stepping onto unfamiliar stages. I'm going to use a lot of theatrical, what do they call metaphors? Theatrical metaphors here. So stepping into a spotlight, stepping onto a stage. And when I say stage, I mean kind of literal and metaphorical. So perhaps being visible is about attending events you don't normally feel comfortable at or wouldn't go to. Actually speaking, public speaking, at an event, or doing a presentation at work. For some people, that's really, really scary. Or attending networking events. I'm going to do a bit of training on networking events because I think it's really important. But for that, you know, some people, that is way out of their comfort zone. Maybe your unfamiliar stage is making videos. Yeah. Going on a podcast, being more visible on social media, actually talking about your opinion on social media and not worrying about what people will say. That's a big one, isn't it? Perhaps it's appearing in the press. There's all sorts of ways that we are invisible and that we can get more visible, but everybody has their own kind of what scares them the most area. And what I do want to say is that being visible, no matter what it is, big or small, it's your personal thing, and it's hard. And I know it's hard. I'm a video coach. I love being on camera. I love doing this. I love standing up in front of a room of people, which is bizarre. I mean, it is and it isn't, because obviously when you're an actress, you are on stage. But I actually really enjoy speaking to a group of people as a workshop facilitator. But when it comes to other areas of my life, people saying things, old narratives about how life used to be, I'm like, I usually don't say anything, but I really, really want to. Okay, so there's some of the situations that you might feel invisible in. I also mentioned ways that we kind of stay invisible, and I think procrastination, avoidance, distraction techniques, comparisonitis, all of those things are kind of self-sabotaging things that are supposedly stress relievers, that's why we do them, but kind of keep us invisible. And I think if you're in business, you have to be visible. You just have to be. And not just in terms of, hello, here's me, here's my product and my service, but actually pushing yourself to be more personal, more personable, and more kind of standing up for what you believe in, for what your brand is, for what you are, really, for what you're selling and why. We want to know. We want to know. Okay, so I'm going to check back and see if I've got any comments. For some reason, I've got a slightly weird... here we go. Bergen. I've been there. Gosh, I used to get... I think the ferry used to go. Sorry, I'm looking at Anita's comment now. She lives in Bergen in Norway, everybody. I think the ferry used to dock in Bergen. Digress. Hi. Again, if you're with me, say hello. If you're watching on replay, please put #replay. If you've got any questions or any comments, then please pop them in the comments box and I will get to you, I promise. Right. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about why it's hard to be visible in a bit more detail. And then I think I'm going to do a part 2 training next week when I talk about techniques to overcome our invisibility and the obstacles and the reasons why we hide. So for now, let's talk about some of the reasons why we stay invisible. And we stay invisible because it's safe. Being visible, being heard, being seen, being believed, being understood, weirdly feels unsafe. Right? Because once we become visible, people start to get to know the real you. And that, my friend, can be quite scary. Feeling unsafe triggers lots of physiological reactions in your body. We all know about fight or flight and freeze or flop or faint. So there are varying different ways that we react to danger. So being visible is perceived as a danger, and we'll talk a little bit more about why that is, but being visible is being seen, is perceived as being a danger. And then the adrenaline starts flowing, and adrenaline drenches your body with a hormone so that you are ready. Your muscles, all the blood flows to your muscles so that you're ready to fight or to run. Your heart rate increases, your breath becomes shallow, you might start to sweat, you stop digesting food and doing any kind of extraneous things like keeping yourself warm or cold. And all sorts of weird and wonderful things happen when you are flooded with adrenaline. Mainly, you are telling, or your body is telling you rather, to avoid the bad thing. Whatever the bad thing is, avoid it. Run away, or punch it on the nose, or faint, or freeze, or play dead. Whatever it is, and you will probably have your own triggers and your own reaction that is a kind of go-to for you. And I want you to think back to your childhood. Was there any time when you felt unimportant? When you felt like you didn't matter? When you felt like all the decisions were made for you and you didn't have a say? And did you ever have a time when you felt invisible? And did you ever have a time when you felt not believed? Because I think this is where a lot of our kind of trauma comes from, and our trauma response, which is we don't feel safe, we're going to retreat. We don't feel safe, we're going to hide, we're going to be invisible. And I think many of us have experienced that as children. Really interesting thing about growing up as a girl is that girls expect not to be believed, whereas boys grow up assuming they will be believed. Right? Isn't that crazy? Whew, so there's a lot of work to be done. Okay, I might talk a bit more about this because again I feel like we need to dig a bit deeper. Also, of course, historically, it's not safe for a woman to be visible and to be seen. If you look back, I mean, obviously there's the witch hunts, which was, you know, a way of disempowering women very, very precisely. But also, you know, look at the Middle Ages, where women were basically traded as cattle. It depended on your birth, it depended on your status and your wealth and that of your male family members. And you were traded, really, as a pawn. And that's if you were obviously lucky enough to be born into royalty or into aristocracy. But I mean, even lower down the kind of classes, if you like, women were chattels. They belonged as property to their men, either to their father or to their husband. And talk about diminishing power, talk about being invisible. I mean, you were literally treated like a piece of property. So if you did become more visible in those circumstances, then the consequences were really fucking serious. You could get your head chopped off, you could be burnt at the stake, you could be married off to some hideous ogre. And so we have a historical, ancestral memory of it being unsafe to be seen. And I can't tell you how powerful intergenerational trauma is. I've learned a lot. If you live in Belfast, you may know a little bit about this because there's been a lot of studies on intergenerational trauma because of the Troubles. An intergenerational trauma, if you haven't heard of it before, is essentially saying that if an ancestor of yours, and it could be your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, or even further back, suffered a great deal of trauma, then that kind of survival instinct is passed down genetically, which is just bloody amazing, isn't it? And if you think that women have had historical trauma to like unbelievable degrees, and that's kind of in our DNA. So we have a lot working against us when it comes to being visible. And I think, when I think back to times like the witch hunts and all of that, I actually think that There's something about women coming together that is phenomenally powerful. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a room full of women, if you've worked in a workshop, or if you, for me, I've done a play, and not only the cast were women, but all the crew and the director as well. There's something almost like a tangible energy in the room. And I think that has a lot to do with why witches were, well, not witches, women were burnt as witches, because people feared that kind of power that women had. So, Rosanna, hi. Oh, bless you. Thank you for joining us. Right. Okay. So, we have historical, social, ancestral reasons not to be visible. We have our own childhood. We have our experiences growing up. We have our experiences at work, family relationships. Lots and lots of what we might call microaggressions. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate one microaggression for you. Being really excited, I came home from an audition and I had such a great experience, and I was like, yes, I've totally nailed this job. And I like literally bounced into the kitchen and I stood in the doorway and told my husband, oh my gosh, and this happened and that happened, and it's so brilliant, and we'll never guess what, and I think I got the job, and da da da. And my husband had his back to me, it was at the sink, and he just went, I'm washing up! And he might as well have said, shut the fuck up, because that's what he meant. And I was so taken aback, because, for many reasons, he wasn't able to receive my information at that time. And that reminds me of so many times when it happened to me as a child as well. I would be so excited about something, and I would come home and either nobody would be there, because I was a latchkey kid, and so from the age of 7 I used to have a key around my neck and let myself in the house, or by the time somebody, you know, got around to taking any notice of me, the joy and the excitement of the, you know, whatever it was, had kind of gone or dissipated. So I learned from an early age that it really wasn't much point in getting excited about stuff, or feeling proud of things, or celebrating myself, or sharing how I felt about stuff, because there was no one there to receive it. For you. And obviously there are lots of other things that happen to us as well, particularly as women, to do with, you know, sexual harassment and sexism, misogyny, all of that. But that's just a little example of a kind of weird microaggression that can happen to people. And that teaches us, that taught me that there was no point in being visible. There was no point in shouting and wanting to be seen and be heard, because there just wasn't anybody there to do that. And so I've learnt over a lifetime just to swallow down my achievements. Don't celebrate successes, always feel like I'm not good enough, always feel like what I'm doing is not enough, never really pausing to think, oh my God, I did a really good job there. And that's just now so ingrained, that's part of my subconscious. So, I don't know if any of that resonates with you, but that's one of the ways, I guess, that we are silenced and made invisible. There's lots of other examples as well. I would really love to hear yours. I know this is very personal and possibly a bit deep for a Tuesday afternoon / Tuesday lunchtime, but if you did want to share something that occurred to you, with regard to being visible, I'd really love to hear it, because I think this is a big topic, and I think it's something we really, really need to talk about. It's important for women to be visible. It's important for us to step up and take our place in society. Did you know that last year in America, the amount of female CEOs has dropped? Yeah. And not only that, the number of female CEOs has dropped, but every time we lost a female CEO, she was replaced by a man. We're going in the wrong direction. We need women to step up, to stand up and be CEOs and politicians and millionaires and philanthropists and all of those wonderful things that women can do, because wow, what a loss to the world. What a loss not having that woman power available to change the world, because I truly believe we can, honestly. Can you tell I've been doing lots of deep thinking, lots of deep work. A book I want to recommend, and again I'll put the link in the comments, is the Patriarchy Stress Disorder by Liz, can't remember her second name, amazing book. She talks a lot about, you know, how we as women are kept invisible for various reasons. So that's really empowered me and got me all fired up, which is great. Okay, so let's wrap up. Visibility, it's hard. It's hard because it's weird, it's scary, it triggers lots of physiological responses in us, it's informed by trauma from generations. It is something that feels like a saber-toothed tiger, I guess, but it's also something that is really, really important. So next week I'm going to do part 2 of this training, and it's all going to be about what can we do to get more visible, what can we do to deal with the feelings that come up, what can we do to stop avoiding, procrastinating, filling ourselves with food and drink and drugs and Netflix and all whatever it is, and what are some of the techniques, and I mean really super practical techniques that we can actually do to overcome this natural avoidance of being more visible. I promise you there are solutions. Might take a bit of work, but there are solutions out there. So that's going to be next week's training, part 2 of this visibility series. I'd like to say, I'm going to renew the comments here because I've missed something. I'd like to say that over on my YouTube channel, which I am zhuzhing up at the moment, I'm going to be doing Thursday Thoughts. I'm going to go live on my YouTube channel every Thursday. Time yet to be decided. I haven't decided on the title either. I think it's still going to be on the same theme of visibility. But that's going to be on Thursday, and I will drop a little note in the group just to let you know what time that's going to be. So Thursday Thoughts over on my YouTube channel. I'd love you to pop over there if you ever get a chance and have a quick look at all the hashtag Top Tips Tuesday training, which are all on the playlist. And if you do want to join me live, that would be fantastic, obviously. If you do hop over to YouTube, please do click likes on some of my videos, drop me a comment and subscribe. That would be wonderful. In the meanwhile, I would love to know what you thought of today's session. It's a little bit different to what I normally do. I wanted to really dig deep into this subject, and I wanted to kind of speak from the heart of my own experiences, and I'm going to keep doing this. So I'd love to know what you think, and if you've got anything out of today, if you've got any questions, or if there's anything else that you feel like I haven't covered with regard to visibility, then please, please, please do let me know. I'm going to sign off there because we are nearly at half an hour, and I can't thank you enough for sticking with me, all you wonderful, wonderful people. I hope you found something useful in that. I'm really glad everybody's got a sunny day, which is hooray, that's all you can ask for, isn't it? We have a sunny day. I'm also delighted that my internet doesn't seem to have cut us off. So from me to you, let's get visible. It's really, really important. Yes, I'll be putting my YouTube link in the comments, Rosanna, of course I will. And have a wonderful rest of the day, and go out and practice being visible, even if it's only in a tiny, 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 tiny way. It's all good. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Thank you. Oh, hey, Michelle. Thank you for watching. And like I say, any thoughts, any questions, please get in touch. Even if it's not in the comments, you can send me a DM. Honestly, love you loads. Thanks so much for being here. See you soon.